This video is about all the bullshit you keep consuming every day. It's about that random TikTok you saw yesterday evening. It's about that random Instagram reel you saw 15 minutes ago. What we're going to be talking about is inputs design, aka a complete theory of what you let into your mind and how this influences your reality. You are what you see every single day. The core concept of this essay is your mind is not a neutral observer of reality. It is a construction built from everything you have ever let into your mind. Most people did not choose what went into their mind. And this essay is about making you aware of that and giving you the power to choose every single thing that you let into your mind, because this will dictate your whole life. And in case you don't know me, I'm Dani Nova, I study psychobiology and I coach people on how to enter a flow state like this. So let's begin. The architecture of your reality. So you don't see the world. You see the world through everything you have ever absorbed. Think about all the bullshit you let into your mind on a daily basis. Like we were saying in the beginning of the video, all the Instagram reels, all that random comment sections you keep being around on YouTube, all that random news you consume that completely destroy your mood, all that random WhatsApp groups you are in where people are just complaining about random stuff that doesn't even impact your life. This is the material that is creating the lenses you look the world through. Like you don't see the world in a pure way. You see it using lenses. And this is just a metaphor for saying that everything you consume shapes the way in which you look at the world. So you keep feeding your brain bullshit and then you wonder why you feel vaguely anxious or lost. This should be no surprise to you. Every input you absorbed in your life is still there in your mind, shaping what you notice, what you expect, what you feel is normal, what you notice around you. You think that you can absorb whatever you like and that it will not have consequences on you, but this is not how it works. So let's now see the science behind this concept. Here we have three mechanisms or frameworks that explain this concept better. The first one is predictive processing, and this is a framework from the neuroscientist Carl Friston from the UCL. So according to this theory, the brain doesn't just wait for things to happen and then react. Like you don't just see the world in a pure way, as we said. You constantly make guesses. Your brain is constantly making guesses about what is about to happen. It's constantly making predictions, probabilistic guesses about what is about to happen in every single moment based on your past experience. So this means that what you see becomes the material that your mind uses to predict your future, like on a daily basis and even every single second. Like right now, what you're watching, even you watching me right now, you're not just watching me, you are sort of making guesses about what is about to happen next in the video, what is about to happen if you apply what I'm telling you. Like your brain is constantly making guesses. And so this means that if you feed your brain threat patterns, it will be more likely to predict threat everywhere it looks to. Like you don't see the world in a pure way. You see the world according to what you've been consuming. So you realize the importance of choosing what you let into your mind. Because the inputs you see become the model for making predictions. And then the model becomes the world. And you confuse your models with the world. And this should scare you, honestly. The next mechanism is quite famous, and it's just Hebbian plasticity, which is often summarized as neurons that fire together, wire together. And according to what we're seeing right now, this just means that every repeated input will literally physically strengthen your brain circuits that process it. And this is just to say that when we say that what you see shapes you, it's not just a metaphor. Like we are talking about measurable change, physical change you can see on a physical level. And the next one is the mere exposure effect. And this effect simply states that the more times you see something, the more likely you are to believe it's true. What you see daily starts to feel normal. What you hear constantly starts to feel true. Not because it is true, but because familiarity is one of the brain's primary proxies for validity, meaning you confuse seeing something many times with truth. And I know you might be confused, but if you think about it in an evolutionary way, this absolutely makes sense. Because we have evolved in a way where if we see something for multiple times and nothing bad happens to us, we start being comfortable around it. And this makes sense. Like if you are in a specific place and nothing happens to you every time you are in this place, you start feeling comfortable around this place. And this is true for concepts as well. The more you are exposed to stuff, the more comfortable you are around it. And the consequence is that over time, you confuse being comfortable with truth. You start believing it to be true. The second principle, therefore, is exposure doesn't inform. It structurally rewrites how you see, what you expect, and who you are becoming. Like, you don't even need to consume actively what you see on a daily basis. Even seeing something shapes you. Like active consumption is the way in which inputs shape you the most, because like if you are paying more attention to something, it will influence you more. But even just seeing something will influence you. So let's now see the desire machine. These all would be manageable if inputs were just information. But like we have briefly touched on, they are not just information. The French philosopher René Girard created this concept of mimetic desire. We desire what we see other people desiring. Desire is not just something you have within you, it is mimetic, it is copied from those you see around you. You can't desire something on your own. You desire what other desires, according to this theory. But I think you might have noticed this in your life as well. And evolutionarily, this even might make sense because for most human history, you just copied the desire of 50 people, like your village, your family, the very few people you actually knew in your small environment. And that was the entire range of available desires. So this didn't create so much pressure on you. But now you are shown every single day the curated desires of thousands of strangers, filtered and selected specifically for maximum emotional impact. Like, this is obviously social media. Like, you see the manufactured version of their desire. And so you start desiring that. And this wouldn't even be bad. The problem is you see so many versions of desire that you lose sight of what you actually want. Because when you see someone desiring something, according to this theory, you start desiring it as well. But when you have so many contradicting desires that society is throwing at you, you become even more confused. And you don't know where you are striving for in the first place. The feed doesn't just steal your time, it literally programs what you want, what you fear, what you find desirable, what you find threatening, through the ancient mimetic mechanism that evolved for small tribes, which is now running on an infinite feed optimized by engineers who understand it far better than you do. The result is that you end up wanting things you never chose to want, fearing things you never thought to fear, feeling inferior to a fictional person assembled from thousands of highlight reels. So the third principle of this essay is every hour you spend on the feed of any social media is 1 hour someone else's desires were installing themselves in your mind, disguised as your own. Like people online tell you that what you see online just steals your attention and your time. But this is not even the worst part. Like, it's like you are installing a virus on your brain. And it's not to say that you shouldn't be ambitious. I am ambitious as well. But you need to become aware that anything you see starts becoming a model for what you desire, according to the mimetic desire theory. I'm not even saying that desiring what others desire is bad. I'm just saying you are passively absorbing other people's desire, and most of the times they are contradicting, and so you can't make sense of that and you become paralyzed. So we have called this concept inputs design, and this is just the way I like to call it in my coaching program, because like your output is determined by your inputs. This is just the way I like to to call it. But this concept is way more history than I can have. So we're going to be seeing 4 different traditions that got to similar conclusions as we did using science. The first one is from the Indian yoga tradition, and it is the concept of samskara, which, simplifying, is just the psychological imprint or mental impression that is left by repeated experiences. So every experience you have, according to this tradition, leaves traces in you. And these traces accumulate and end up forming the architecture of your consciousness. So the solution that they had for this problem, that experiences leave traces on you, and if those traces are bad, they ruin you, is satsang, which is the concept of deliberately surrounding yourself with wiser people, with good people, people who have a pure consciousness. Because if you associate with the wisest people, the traces that experiences are going to leave you will be much more pure. And so your consciousness won't be clouded by random bullshit. Simplifying this concept. The next one is the concept of 𝗙𝗟𝗟, which is an ancient Greek concept. And this just means being aware of anything that enters your mind. Even the emperor Marcus Aurelius practiced this 𝗙𝗟𝗟 mechanism every morning. Your soul takes the color of your thoughts. And I know that this sounds poetic, but this is true as well. Like going back to the analogy of you look at the world using lenses. With this analogy that we can take from Marcus Aurelius, we can say that your lenses can be colored. Like they can have a whole range of different colors. And this just depends on what you think. But what you think depends on what enters your mind. So this is the mechanism. You see something. It creates thoughts and emotions. And these thoughts and emotions shape your lenses. The lenses you look at the world through. And the next tradition we're going to be taking from is Sufism, which is a sort of mystical tradition from Islam. And we have the concept of ghafla, which is heedlessness, the state where you are not completely aware of what is entering your inner life. And the Sufis believed that this was the root of any spiritual disease. Like any form of spiritual suffering comes from that, not being aware of what you're letting into your mind. It's not sin like in the Christian tradition, it's not error, it's just not noticing. And their solution was dhikr, which is the deliberate filling of the mind before the world fills it carelessly. And the last one is going to be from the Confucian tradition. Did the inputs that I allowed today in my mind move me toward who I am trying to become or away from it? And the thing is, according to this perspective, choosing what you pay attention to is not just a sort of aesthetic preference, just a personal preference that you have. I prefer this or I prefer that. It's a moral act. This is the incredible part about this tradition. Like, you choosing to invest your attention on something as literally a return of investment. Like, it will not only influence your life, but other people's lives as well, because your actions in the world do influence other people, and your actions start from what you see. So, being ruthless with the stuff you consume is a moral act. So now I'm going to give you some practical advice to actually change what you absorb in order to improve your life. And this is not going to be the usual advice like read more books or do a digital detox. Though these might be helpful, we're going to try to be more original than that. The first one is treating boredom as a compass. When you feel bored with shallow content, your brain is not just malfunctioning, it is healthy and just telling you that this is not enough. Nietzsche called boredom the ungrateful companion of all useful work. And it just meant that it appears precisely when the mind is ready to go deeper than what is being given. Stop killing boredom with stimulation and just let it reveal something to you about the situation you are in right now. The next one is going to be reversing the concept of René Girard. Choose what desires to copy. If you're going to mimic desires anyway, and you are because the mechanism cannot be switched off according to this theory, at least try to do it consciously. Don't follow people just because they are successful. Follow people whose relationship to their work, to time, to depth, to people you want to absorb mimetically. Like, we are starting from the precondition that you're going to be mimicking other people's desires no matter what. So at this point, why not choosing in the first place what you see? You can design your feed. You can block content that you don't like. You can choose the examples you give yourself. This is not complete freedom because you will still be copying others, but at least you will do it in a much more aware and free way. The third one is going to be a bit counterintuitive, but this works as well. Like, you should be consuming stuff that is aligned with your vision in order for you to actually go create that vision for real. But you also need the opposite of that, your anti-vision, the antagonist. You need to consume the most intelligent, most rigorous version of what you most disagree with. Because a mind that is exposed only to its own conclusions is not a strong mind, it is a chamber. Being convinced about something literally means being able to survive being challenged. And so this is why you should be consuming also contrarian takes on your takes. I'm not saying that you should consume only the opposite, because as I told you, this will only create confusion. But if you are a critical thinker, you need a contrarian take. And this will even help you to believe in even more in your beliefs if they are right. Because if you truly believe in something, you shouldn't be scared of facing the opposite of that. The fourth one is the aggressive beautification. The neuroscientist Samir Zeki found that exposure to great art activates the brain's reward circuitry as powerfully as romantic love. Beauty is not just aesthetics. It is beauty is not just aesthetics. It literally restructures your brain. So you need beauty is oftentimes the antidote to confusion. The fifth one is the most practical one, and this is what I do in my coaching program all the time. And this just means being very precise about how you design your spaces and your environments. Like the desk you work in, your kitchen, your living room. Every single room should contain only the inputs and the items that will help you achieve your goals and your mission, that will help you to stay in the mental state you want to be in this specific space. Like in the desk you're working, anything that doesn't help you to focus should disappear, because the goal of this space is to give you a specific mental state. In fact, in my coaching program, I tell people that spaces should lead you to mental states. This is the reason why you should be very precise about interior design. This is not just about aesthetics, it's about functionality as well. And the last one is seek the necessary wound. The last one is similar to the one we were seeing before, like go for the contrarian take sometimes. And in this case, we are talking about go look for stuff that not only challenges you, but makes you suffer a bit. Like all great literature, all great philosophy, all great experiences do make a sort of wound in you. They don't leave you comfortable all the time. They create a wound that then heals. And after you heal from that wound, you come back even stronger. Expansion is only possible if you accept a bit of pain in the beginning. So the fifth principle is what you protect yourself from matters, but what you deliberately seek with taste, with intention, with seriousness matters most of all. So let's end the video with this powerful analogy, the riverbed analogy. You are not just choosing what to think, you are choosing what you will be capable of thinking. Your ability to think is directly dependent on what you consume. And like, for example, with books, this is so true. You know this as well. If you read hard books, you're going to think in a much more powerful way. Every absorbed input is carving the channels through which tomorrow's thoughts will flow. The mind is a riverbed, and the water goes where the channels take it. You don't just have thoughts, you have the thoughts that the shape of your previous inputs makes available to you. If you change the inputs, the channels will change. New thoughts become possible. Old obsessions dry up. The water finds different path. So whether you are aware of this or not, you are always building the mind that will do your future thinking, because your thinking is based upon what you consume. The question you need to ask yourself is whether you are building it deliberately or you're letting your environment build it for you. So guard the gate, because the garden grows from what you let through the gate of your mind. Thank you for staying till the end, guys, and as usual, I really hope that this was useful to you, and in case you want more from me, you can check out my X or my newsletter. Both the links are down below, and in the links down below you also have a 2-minute flow state questionnaire that I have prepared for you. And if you want me to personally help you to apply all of these in your daily life, I have a one-on-one coaching program, and you can schedule a free call with the links down below. As usual, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.